Hi, it's Dre Griggs with Obsidian Wisdom. On this Wisdom Wednesday, we'll be discussing our proverb of the week, which is a child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. So, earlier in the week, you were able to share your thoughts on what it meant to you. Today, I'll share a little bit of the thoughts that I have, and then in the comments, you can let me know if you think I'm off, or if we're in agreement, or if you just really have anything to add on to it. So when you talk about children, right, I have four of my own currently. You really are thinking like, okay, what is it that I'm trying to instill in them? What is it that I have to give to them to help them, to encourage them, to motivate them, to help them be their best person? And the reality is, it comes always down to our time. How much time are we giving our kids? When we give them a certain amount of time in a positive way, they tend to do what is necessary to get that same reward back. Where we almost have them addicted to the positive feedback, where they're constantly trying to reach that same plateau so that they can get it. Now, sometimes my time isn't just my time. So maybe we'll do something as an entire family, like we'll go to get like yogurt, like frozen yogurt at a Sweet Frog. There's one a few miles from our house. So we can tie all sorts of things to that, and the kids will work for that. They understand that enjoyment, and so they are willing to do things that help them to be a better person, but we give them the instant gratification. And the reason we do it that way is, unfortunately, a lot of our, let's say, beneficial things are going to be beneficial much further down the road. So, for instance, if you have the choice between like a glazed donut or eating a salad, well, the glazed donut is going to be the instant gratification. That's going to be tasty right away. You're going to enjoy that today versus eating a salad. That's not really going to give you the benefit until much later down the road, where you'll feel healthier, where you'll have longevity, a better life, more energy, things like that. But in the immediate moment, you may be like, look, I wasn't really wanting the salad. I really wanted the glazed donut. Now, some of you just love salad, so you don't have to worry about that. You get the instant gratification and you get the reward associated with it. But when it comes to most of the things in our life, you find that the long term benefit of doing something good sometimes has a short term empty feeling, right? So whether you're talking about money and you're talking about investing it, you may feel like, well, I could have gotten a really nice trip or a really nice like car or boat or new clothes, where all of those would instantly feel good versus building a portfolio or buying an investment property or starting a business, where the money in the immediate term does not really give you that same feeling. And so you're going to have a better long term, but not as much of a short term. The same holds true with things of motivating our children. You know, if I want my kid to read for 15 minutes a day, I'm going to tie a reward that is instant, where we're going to say, okay, well, we have a little reading log, and you can color in one of the days, and then that's going to feel great. And then every, time you fill it out once a month, we'll go and we'll do something fun. We'll get a dessert, or we'll take a trip, or we'll do something enjoyable. Where instead of me just saying, hey, over the long term, you're going to be having a larger vocabulary, and it's going to help you in school, and studies show how beneficial reading is. Like, my kids are going to look at me and be like, yeah, that sounds great, old man, but I'd rather go outside and play. So I give them the instant gratification of coloring in a reading log, getting that feeling of success and accomplishing something, and then we tie that to a medium reward. Not, I mean, it's pretty instant compared to the benefits of reading every day, but it's not, completely instant. They do have to wait till the end of the month, but they also get kind of that benefit. So they are like, okay, even though I know I should read, I now have an instant reward associated with it. I say all that to say, when you look back at our proverb, which is a child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. Well, on the one level, we're really just talking about what is that instant gratification. If you have a child who feels neglected, what are they going to do to be seen? are they going to get any attention that they can get? And I believe that this proverb is slowly starting to peel back that onion, where if we don't give some sort of a feedback mechanism, then our kids are going to think that any attention is good attention, whether that attention is positive or negative. They just want the attention. And so if when you're dealing with that, just the overall human psyche, where all of the good things have a long-term payoff and all of the not so good things have an instant payoff, well, we feel that temptation of going towards the not so good things because they have the immediate payoff. Whether that is spending money less than stellar on instant things that are going to be here today and they'll be gone tomorrow because we could maybe take some pictures doing it, or we were able to just kind of at the spur of the moment, like we were putting this money away for something important, but something just kind of popped up, and we felt that temptation where we're like, you know what, I have the money, let me just go for it. Now, I'm not saying that that's always a bad thing, but I am saying that it can be. In the same way with this proverb, if you have a kid who is looking for some sort of feedback, they're looking for that instant positive feeling. If they don't get it, they'll be willing to do anything to feel that warmth. And in this proverb, they're saying that kid's going to be willing to burn the village down to feel its warmth. So if your child can only get your attention by showing, negative expressions where they know that if I do something that my parents don't like, that they're going to stop everything and give me the attention I'm looking for, well, you don't want to create that as the feedback mechanism where every time they do something negative, you stop everything you're doing and then they get that attention. Even though they're burning the village down, for a lack of a better term, it doesn't really bother them. They feel the warmth of you. And so when it comes to parenting, we often have to keep that in mind, that a lot of the benefits of the things that we're trying to instill in our kids, even if they don't feel them immediately, we want to make sure that they feel something. And whether we give them that reward in some small way daily, where they could just have a checklist and they get to check it off that they did it, or whether we make sure that we check in with them weekly, where they can get an allowance, for instance, if they're doing chores, or if you want to, pay them for their report cards, or just however you want to do it, you want to be able to check in with them on a pretty regular basis so that they can feel the warmth of the village and that they're not looking for it in all the wrong ways. And I'd love to get your thoughts on that, how you felt about that proverb. That's how I felt. Parenting and family is a big thing for me. If you know anything about me, you know that basically, if you could sum me up, I'm big on work in my community. I'm big on families, and I'm big on entrepreneurship. And so I do think it's important that if you are chasing a passion, if you are working and you're investing a lot of your time and resources into building something for your kids, you don't want them to resent what you're building where they tear it down when you're older because they felt like you chose the business, or you chose that passion over them. Find a way to include them in it. Share with them why it's important to you. Take them to the places, even if it ends up adding like extra hours onto your completion time. Go ahead and just involve them in it. That is the way that you have your kids buy into the business where they're excited for it too. Right? If I had a dollar every time a parent is trying to figure out what they're going to do with their business because their kid is not interested in running that business, then I would be very rich, and I don't want to be rich because of that. I would love for it to be different, where we build the businesses with the kids in mind, where we find ways to use their creativity, their interest, and their passions in the company. And then when you grow up together, they have more of a vested interest in it. And then they will not burn the village down to feel its warmth. Instead, they will expand and grow the village because they feel the warmth all the time. And on that note, if you want more help understanding your retirement needs and how to incorporate your family's needs in your retirement plan, check out my free Retirement Planning That Works video training at obsidianwisdom.com/training. In it, I share the entire wisdometric framework that I use to help my clients eradicate financial stress generate a passive income, and build a prosperous retirement strategy. And until next time, Wisdomites, remember wisdom is asking the right questions to allow yourself to get the right answers. Keep asking those questions, and you will keep getting those answers. Continue blessings.